Hello, and thank you for watching this November 16th weather update, brought to you by Agrible, the makers of Morning Farm Report. My name is Eric Snodgrass, and I am a senior atmospheric scientist and co-founder of Agrible. As we forecast in the last video, this past week brought significant weather across the U.S., from the Pacific Northwest to the central U.S. and southeast. Starting in the northwest, persistent and strong westerly flow brought rain to coastal locations and valleys and an abundance of snow to the mountains. The animation shows the last 2 weeks of snow accumulation, and we can see that the Rockies, Cascades, and Sierra Nevadas received a good deal of snow. The map shown below has the current snow depths out west. Well, how does all of this stack up to normal for this time of year? This map shows the basin average snow water content expressed in a percent of average. We can see how many of the stations are reporting over 100%. This is excellent news given the drought conditions in the west. Winter snowpack is crucial to filling reservoirs and keeping spring and summer stream flow high for irrigation purposes. Here's a look at the most recent U.S. drought monitor. With all of the rain and snow that has fallen in the Pacific Northwest, I expect drought in this region to improve when the new data are released on Thursday. Furthermore, the next few days will bring even more rain and snow to this region. Drought across the rest of the United States is patchy and not nearly as severe as it is out west. Repeated heavy rain events, started by the remnants of Patricia last month, have erased drought in Texas. Expect changes in Missouri, Arkansas, and Illinois over this week as another vigorous low-pressure system passes through the region. Before we talk about the next round of showers, storms, and snow for the central United States, let's look at how the first half of November has shaped up in terms of temperatures. Fall has been slow to settle in for the eastern two-thirds of the United States, as repeated days of strong southerly winds have kept temperatures high. Here we can see the temperature anomalies for the first 14 days of November. One consequence of strong southerly flow for this time of year is that it provides a lot of energy for storm systems that move through the country. Last week, just as we had forecast, a vigorous low-pressure system raced across the United States and kicked off a round of severe weather. This map shows the storm reports from Veterans Day, and Missouri, Iowa, and Illinois were hammered with strong winds and isolated tornadoes. Tornadoes are more rare for this time of year, with an average of just 1 or 2 across each of these states in November. That does not mean that outbreaks cannot happen, though, and last week was proof. In addition to fueling the thunderstorms, the warm air has kept soil temperatures quite warm. I know many growers want to get into fields and prepare them for next year, but with soil temperatures still in the low 50s across a large part of the Corn Belt, applications will have to wait. This map shows the current soil temperatures across Illinois. Well, let's look ahead by watching this animation of surface air pressure and precipitation for the start of this next week. Just as we had talked about in last week's video, a strong low-pressure system is going to develop as a Colorado low and then strengthen as it heads towards the Great Lakes. A lot of rain is forecast to develop ahead of this system and push through the central United States into the Midwest Monday through Wednesday. Expect another very rainy and windy week as the system pulls through. Now, the bottom right map on this panel shows total accumulated precipitation for this week. Notice a large area of greater than 2 inches of rain is expected. While the eastern half of the country is receiving all of this rain, the western mountains are getting another round of snow. The embedded map in the upper left shows total accumulations through midweek. Let's turn our attentions now to the temperatures. Starting on Monday, warm air will spread through the Great Plains ahead of the big low-pressure system. As the system progresses to the east, colder air settles in behind this low, with warm air out ahead of it. By Saturday, another low-pressure system forms in the Great Plains. The cold air dives south from Canada into the Midwest and gives the chance for snow in Iowa, southern Minnesota, southern Wisconsin, and northern Illinois. Now, more on this in just a moment. But Thanksgiving week, we are watching for another shot of cold air for the Midwest to start the week. Here is a forecast for the next week. We can see most of the continental United States has a higher than average probability to see colder than normal temperatures for Thanksgiving week. But let's now get back and talk more about the second weather system, the one that's coming this next weekend. The combined effect of the cold air and low pressure development is prompting the long-range forecast models to form a band of snow from Nebraska through Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and northern Illinois and Michigan by Saturday night through Sunday morning. While the timing and amount will change, the models have been consistently producing this system for the last 8 runs, giving me more confidence in its forecast. Remember that this is a long-range forecast and it will likely change, and it is also likely that the model is biased high in the precipitation amounts at this point. What it is signifying, though, is how colder air is finally making its way south after avoiding the central United States for most of this fall. To finish, let's briefly turn our attention south towards Brazil. The last week was slightly drier than average for the northern growing regions near Mato Grosso. However, though the last week was dry, regular rainfall, as we can see in this figure, has been falling in this region. Only 2 days since October 17th did not record any rainfall. Several days were quite wet, actually. Well, the next week looks to bring more rain, as we should expect during an El Niño year in Brazil. The only region that might be stressed is the southern growing region near Paraná. Several large rainfall events have occurred there in the last month, and quite a bit more rain is still forecast. However, the rain gauge data suggests that there are just slightly wetter than average for this time of year, signifying that most regions are not water stressed. Well, as always, we at Agrible will bring you the latest and best weather forecast information through our morning farm report so that you can efficiently plan your operations. We thank you for your attention and hope you look forward to our next weather video update. Thank you.